Alright, what's up? I know guys, it's been a while. It's been like 3 months since I had the last video out, and I honestly had to take one big break, aside from the other break I've had the past year. There's been a lot of stuff going on. I'll keep it short so I can get to the video. So, I basically locked myself in Paul's garage, in Alberto's garages, for a while and got the whole entire car done and filmed here and there and got everything done in between work and life and things like that. I just want to get this car done to get back out on track so I can start making content again, competing, and having fun. So this video will be part 1 of all the updates with the car, and the next video will be part 2 of the rest of the updates we have done. But I am very, very excited to be back on track and getting videos out, having fun, driving with friends, doing my thing with the whole entire fresh 1.5 JZS13 out on track. So I'm very excited, but it has sucked. I'm sorry I haven't had a lot of content this year. This year has been really, really crappy, and I'm just trying to get back to normal. With that being said, this next clip right here was like 3 months ago, getting everything ready to go into the car, as in the new engine, the clutch, and the engine harness, and the winners to see actual adapters that are going to be really, really cool and really, really fun to test and see if they hold up. If not, we'll go to the next step. But either way, we're going to try it. I'm very excited to get the car out, back, and ready. And in the next video, we'll do a full update on the whole entire car with all the other things we did. But anyway, enjoy the video, and thanks for watching. Alright, we're back for a new video. Last video you guys saw us build a new 1.5 JZ, the fully built 1.5 JZ, run BC rods, TP pistons, BC cams, BC head internals, all that kind of stuff. Alberto busted ass, got the whole engine built, long block, and some accessories done. The exhaust manifold's still at Cerakote, so that'll go on after it's in the car. But we have no time to waste, so it's time to get this thing in the car. But first things first, before it goes in the car, I do the bell housing clutch setup on the car first, on the engine first, and then it goes in the car. The dog box will go on afterwards, because I like doing it that way better. But speaking of clutches, we have a brand new Action twin disc clutch built for the 2JZ to GSR dog box setup. So if you guys have a dog box or any kind of GM spline dog box transmission, Andrews, GSR, 6XD, all that kind of stuff, you can use this clutch with the GM spline of the JZ flywheel. So it's 8.5-inch twin disc. It's been great. I've loved this clutch. It's felt great. It's been great. Had 2 seasons on the other one, but I'll have a fresh clutch in for this season and upcoming events. So I am very stoked on that. Big thanks to Action again for giving us a very, very fresh, brand new clutch, and we also have a spare in the bin back there. So stoked on it. Let's get that on the car and get to it. So clutch goes on, bell housing, and then in the car we go, and then so on. So engine bay is all freshened up and clean, new fuel systems in, all that other stuff. Pulled the old nasty engine harness out on the ground. This is trash, and then our new engine harness will go in the next video. So cut all the old unneeded wiring out. All that wiring will also be coming out as well, but for now I got the old engine harness out. That way we have more room to get this engine in, get everything plumbed and ran for the new setup. Alright, we are back in the car. 1.5 JZ fully built is back in the S13. It's been months and months and months of emptiness in every area of everything. To see this engine back in the car is a very, very amazing, amazing feeling. So we do have new engine mounts. The ISR engine mounts are in the car. The other ones were absolutely terrible, and now there's a little bit of things we have to change. We have to drill out some holes to mount the radiator better down here, and then probably some fab work, and then positioning things a little bit differently here and there. But it's only very, very slight, so not too big of a deal. Just a little bit more work to do. But I am done for the weekend. Gonna come back next weekend, which will be the next clip of us tidying things up and getting things rolling on this thing. As you guys just saw, we threw out that nasty old 30-year-old modified harness that has given us so many issues, caused us so many engines and headaches and stress and money, but it's all gone. It's behind us, it's out of here, it's trash, and it's time for the new engine harness. All right, so here we have it, my brand new 1JZ, 2JZ wiring specialties harness. I'm so stoked to be working with them this year. They gave me a really good deal on this harness, and they got it done pretty quick. So it is all done, ready to go. There's a few things I didn't need on here that they put on here that I didn't need, so that kind of sucks. But anyway, ignore that. I need this though. But these three things I don't need, but everything else is definitely needed. But it's custom made to my spec, to what I need. So to my coil packs, to the ECU, the EMU black, can for the PMU and the ADU, all the data logging, everything is in this. We are adding new sensors to the engine as well as the current ones we have, but as you guys can see here, I got pretty freaking busy. So I went ahead and just started going crazy and just started installing things and getting things plumbed, because filming that and doing it by myself takes a lot of time, and I just don't have the time to do it. So we do have the new True Focus Fab catch can on this side now, so different routing than before, and we do have the radium expansion slash swirl pot mixture product right here in the corner, and then 3584 RS turbo, Cerakoted brand new manifold with titanium Vivid hardware. What else is new? I think that's pretty much it. The 1ZZ coil packs are actually going to work this time. And we ripped out all the old wiring. So all the old wiring's out. There's some still in there I have to take out as well, but for the most part, I went ham on this thing and got this thing going. So it looks great. We do have also, oh yeah, we have new engine mounts. The ISR engine mounts in there. No more of the shitty excessive ones. They're absolutely terrible. Don't recommend them, but now this thing looks great. It's all installed, and as you can see here, we have coolant pressure on the expansion tank. And we're also going to have the existing normal sensors that we have, fuel pressure, oil pressure, all that stuff. We're adding new kinds of knock sensors on here. IET, of course, you have to have that, but everything's going to be monitored except for EGTs. I'll get EGTs one day, but I didn't have the time. We'll get it next year or something like that. But other than that, this thing is looking sick. But it's really just plug and play. You plug it in and it should work. You know, there's some programming you have to do, but we are rewiring the entire car. It's a cluster, and we're getting rid of all of that because we are doing a PMU power management unit by ECU Master. That's going to manage all of everything on the whole car with the ECU. So no more relays, no more unneeded wiring. It's much cleaner, much simpler, and just way, way, way big of an upgrade compared to before. All right, first things first, we're going to get this coil pack harness in, and then go from there on the harness. All right, good to go so far. Got the harness ran all the way through. I didn't film it because it's a lot. Like running it through the wire wall, laying it out, plugging it in. It's a whole ordeal. But the new harness is in, such better wiring, all brand new. No more crusty old wires from 30 years ago. So much better. Get the wire in the oil temp sensor, and then that's it. And then change the starter plug. The starter plug is different as well. They put the wrong one in there. So other than that, it's ran. It's looking good. So much nicer. I don't have injectors yet, but once we install them, we'll get them in and plugged in. But the wires right now are just laying there, ready to go. After that, we'll get these coolant lines fittings welded on, heat wrapped, and then on we go. Okay, so as we are doing the engine harness is finally in all together. We're gonna have a big pause on that because we have one really special thing to install in the car. So as you guys know, I put a winter's quick change in the car finally for this year, but you know, when you do these swaps, the axles and all those other parts are very expensive. So for me, I wanted to try out something very different. A few others have already tried it and it actually works, but I'm gonna be the first to test an actual market item you guys can actually buy for yourself if you do a Winners to Z axle adapter. So I left the Z axles in here, and we're doing a Z axle adapter to the Winners. So basically, it's the Winners and then an adapter to the Z axle. Now, it sounds kind of funny to do, you know, Z axles with a very expensive Winters diff, but like drive shaft shop axles are $2,000, and when you break one, which they do break, it's $1,000. And the Z axles are rated up to probably like 500 to 700 horsepower, and I also have a clutch delay valve in my car, and it'll be just enough for what we gotta do. And if it doesn't work out, we'll do beefier axles. But I wanted to try it and see if I can actually do it, make this way more affordable than buying drive shaft shop axles. So we finally got the adapters. Took a long time to make. We had trouble finding someone to make them, and Josiah from FDF hooked it up, got them done within 1 week. So my friend Josh Brown actually had the original idea of doing these axle adapters, and he actually had them made, put them on the car, and they worked, and it fit perfectly just fine. But finding someone to actually manufacture them regularly was tough. So it took a long time, a few months to get it figured out, but we finally got it figured out to where Josiah from FDF also had the idea, and they kind of came together and got the product done that you guys will be able to buy for your Winners to Z adapter as well. I know Winners aren't a very common thing that everybody owns, but like, and this will make the swap a lot more affordable for me and everyone. Now, depending on your car and your horsepower, it might not, but it is going to require testing and see where I can push it to for others to learn and see where it's going to be. So all in all, it'll work fine, I'm pretty sure. I'm very excited, so let's get to installing them. So big thanks to Josh and Josiah for getting these things out to me. These things are really nice, and they're a very, very affordable option to run Z axles with your winner's diff. So this piece right here will sit in the cup of the winner's stub, and then this right here will mount the axle to the winner's itself. And you run 2 driver's side Z axles. So if you guys didn't know, normally on a Z or a G, there is a shorter axle and a longer axle. On the driver's side, it's a shorter axle. On the passenger side, it's a longer axle. And that's what I've ran for years in my setup. But when you do the winners with the conversion, you gotta use 2 driver's side shorter axles for each side. That way it all is symmetrical and nothing's too long, nothing's binded, nothing's too short, etc. So 2 driver's side Z axles will be installed on the driver's side, obviously, and the passenger side, and that's what it all equals up to fit perfectly fine. Up next, we're gonna get these installed on the winner's diff. Use some Loctite, orange Loctite, nothing not too crazy. It's kind of the mixture of the strength of both. Use that for the bolts that go onto the winners and the bolts that go into, well, onto the Z axles to the adapter as well. So make sure you Loctite both. Like I said, bolts that go into the winners and the bolts that go into the axle adapter. So up next, get these installed and make sure the fit's all good. Spin it around, make sure it all spins freely and nothing's binded up, and we should be good to go. I'm gonna film this the best I possibly can. So, axle adapter, this piece right here will fit into the stub, just like that. We're in, and then we're gonna bolt in there, put the bolts in, tighten them all down, and the axle will mount just to the other side of this adapter, and be good to go with a driver's side Z axle on both passenger and driver's side. So I'm gonna film the after of these getting installed because it's by myself, no tripod under here, and I want to show you guys the end result. And it's not that hard. All you're doing is putting bolts into a stub, and then bolts through another axle to an adapter. So very, very easy. It all fits very good. So up next, get the bolts in and be done. All right, first one is in, Loctite into the axle stub. Good to go. Now next will be put the axle right in here. The cup will fit into this divot here. Bolted on here, 6 bolts, OEM bolts, or you can buy your own bolts will fit right in. Just make sure they're stock or grade 10, because grade 10 are the strongest. You don't want shitty bolts to break. So that is good. I'm gonna do the other one next because I have an axle on that side, and I'll put the axle on after I put the other one on, see how it fits, and then should be good to go to get the axle on this one. Putting an axle on the passenger side, I don't know why, an S chassis can be really annoying just because of the subframe. But first, other side on first, and then continue on to the axles. All right, so we have the Z axle onto the FDF winners, the Z axle adapter all bolted up, and we have a functioning rear end with a Nissan Z axle. So this is sick. It is moving the wheel with the diff. So dope. The fitment was literally on par, perfect, not a single issue. It was like butter on both ends of the adapter, so always a good sign. I'm super stoked that this is actually gonna work, and I'm ready to test this thing out once we get to that point. But up next, one more axle on this side, and we should be good to go. But man, I am so stoked on that. So we're in, we are literally in. So plenty of play in there, nothing's binded up. It's not solid as hell. It's plenty of room, just about a play you want in the axle to where it's safe, to where it's not binding or tight. Stuff like that. So if it's tight, if you can't move back and forth like this, you don't want it. So, but yeah, it's installed. I'm very, very happy about that. Next up is that side, like I said. Let's get to it. All right, so the winners to Z axle adapters are officially in the S13 stock Z axles on both sides with the adapter and everything. So I'm so stoked on this. I've been waiting for a long time, trying to get these made. Getting this complete, and it's finally complete. So I'm so stoked on this. It's officially working. Let me twist the diff so you can see. Currently twisting the diff, spinning all nice and free. All good and ready to go. So it works. Freaking works. I'm so stoked. I'm so happy this works. Hell yeah, all right, get the wheel back on, and this is done. And then the next in this video, I don't know what's next, but it'll be something. This video is going to be all over the place, putting on miscellaneous things and checking things off of my list. Alright, so the FDF Winners to Z axle adapters are in the car, as you guys saw. It was really easy install, just bolted it in. It was so smooth, it fit like a glove, no issues at all, so they work. So I'm very stoked that it works fitment wise. Now I'm gonna test them out when the car is done and actually drive this thing, put some grip in the car, make sure it works. I do know a few other people that have done this already, and it works with like 700 horsepower, gripped up on 08R, so it should be fine for me. So it's in. That was a big thing off my list because it was custom, and custom parts take a long time, but we got it done. It's in, it's available on the market now, fdfraceshop.com. If you have a Winners or want to buy them or just want to test them, or you want to cut down the cost of doing a Winters in an S13 or a Z by like $2,000 to $3,000 in axles. So if they hold up, it saves a lot of money if you're on a budget. But I know it's funny, again, to do a very expensive diff with cheaper axles, but like, saving money. If it works, then do it. Because dry shaft shop axles break, and sometimes it takes forever to get them back, and it's $1,000 each axle. So compared to $100, $200 axles each from a stock Z. So works really good. Alrighty, hope you guys enjoyed that video. I know it was a lot of stuff and time kind of mixed into one video, but next video will make much more sense with all the updates. But once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.